issued. So about 6 million direct deposits and 1.6 million debit cards have been issued. Direct deposits will continue to be issued through November 14th. A second round of debit cards started getting mailed out this week. Now, this is for certain Golden State Stimulus 1 or 2 check recipients. If you didn't receive the Golden State Stimulus but weren't getting a direct deposit, those debit cards for people with last names starting with letters towards the beginning of the alphabet will start going out in December.
Now, guys, you are eligible to receive another stimulus check from the IRS, and these checks can be worth up to $3,000. Now, checks may be automatically deposited for millions of Americans. Other Americans will be able to claim a $500 stimulus check next week, and this is all thanks to the billions of dollars that's being allocated towards a new stimulus program. So you want to be sure to continue watching this video to learn how to receive the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information, folks. There's a ton of news on this, and I want you guys to get the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus news. You don't want to miss out on this important video. So now the US government, everybody, has finally approved the sending of 3 stimulus checks, and although the IRS announced they had finished sending the third payment, known as economic impact check, some of you guys haven't even received that money yet, which is $1,400. So taxpayers were able to claim the payment when they filed their tax return for the 2021 fiscal year. However, this year's tax season ended on April 18th and the extension expired on October 17th. But you still may actually be able to claim any money that you haven't received from the third payment. Now, since taxpayers can make sure they are eligible for the recovery rebate credit by checking if they received a letter from the IRS, you can actually get the money still by filing your return. However, since both deadlines have passed, the amount you are eligible for would be reduced by penalties, and your refunds could be less than expected. On the other hand, everybody, people who are generally not required to file their taxes because they have lower incomes have until the middle of November to request the third stimulus check. That's through the online tax credit tool. In general, low and middle income citizens are eligible as established by the IRS. This help is intended for people who earn less than $75,000 of adjusted gross income, heads of households who earn less than $112,000, and married couples who file jointly who earn less than $150,000 as well can get the payment. The stimulus check is actually $1,400, so be sure to get it and check your mailbox for this. The IRS has said it passed a milestone of having 4,000 new workers as the agency prepares for the tax filing season again of next year. However, the IRS commissioner said the IRS is fully committed to providing the best service possible, and we are moving quickly to use new funding to help taxpayers during the busy tax season. The IRS plans to hire another 1,000 customer service workers by the end of the year. Almost all training will be complete by the President's Day in 2023, when the highest call volumes typically occur. As of October, the agency had 5 million unprocessed individual tax returns received in 2022. It included late filed returns from the previous year, and Reddick in March told the House Ways and Means Committee that he expects the backlog will absolutely resolve before December. And according to the Massachusetts governor, the first checks and direct deposits from a nearly $3 billion pot of excess tax revenue will head back to taxpayers starting next week. A spokesperson for the Executive Office of Administration and Finance said the money will head out the door under the voter-approved tax cap law. So, about 3 million taxpayers will receive a refund in the form of a mail check or direct deposit, worth about 14% everybody of what they owed in state personal income taxes. Taxpayers owed state personal income tax last year and already filed their 2020 return are eligible and don't have to take any steps to receive the funds. The Baker administration previously said that needed to file a 2021 tax return by October 17. To be eligible for a refund, a spokesperson said today that the administration pushed that deadline until the middle of next year, so you can actually have time to get your stimulus payment, everybody. You will want to be sure to get the stimulus check before it's too late.
Its main mission. So they couldn't get the IRS the information it needed to send out checks. But thanks to some legal wrangling, that's been worked out. One group left out of this good news, VA beneficiaries. The IRS says it's continuing to review data it has on people who get veterans benefits but don't file a tax return. The IRS does expect to come up with a payment date soon, hopefully around mid-April. Connecting the dots, I'm Tiffany Craig.
Rick Scott said he doesn't want to preserve the benefits of Medicare and Social Security, and he doesn't know if Republicans want to change that. In August, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin suggested that Social Security and Medicare should be discretionary spending programs that are either approved by Congress instead of federal entitlement programs or mandatory spending. According to the Washington Post, a spokesperson from Johnson's office said that Johnson doesn't want to eliminate the programs but thinks they are threatened without the fiscal discipline and oversight typically found with discretionary spending. The New York Times reported that top Republicans also suggested that raising the age to collect Social Security from 67 to 70 and raising the health insurance premiums for seniors, pitching the ideas as a way to combat high government spending is a problem. And President Biden, the former president, among other top Democrats, have called out Republicans on this for their suggested cuts and cancellations of stimulus checks. All we know is one thing, everybody, because President Biden must send out stimulus payments before it gets too late. We cannot wait for this to happen, everybody. President Biden must do it now. It's finally happening. New stimulus checks will arrive again this November for many people, and as well as December and January. People will get stimulus payments in those months. Many states have announced stimulus checks for residents in order to combat inflation and the increased prices due to inflation too. So many of these payments will be sent to those who filed tax returns in 2020 or 2021, but different states have different requirements for eligibility. The extra cash can also help you pay for Thanksgiving dinner or save for gifts as the holidays approach. It's important to know that if you qualify, you'll get the money fast. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, you could be missing out on a $1,400 stimulus check, and if you don't do so by November 15th, you won't be able to claim this money if you haven't filed yet. In California, for instance, the stimulus checks have been going out since days, and more are going to be sent out during Thanksgiving and the holiday season. The second phase of payments were sent to those who received the Golden State stimulus check as a debit card. Most of these checks should arrive by November 14th. Early this year, Colorado residents of at least 18 years of age and who filed a tax return were eligible to receive an inflation relief check of $750. And everybody, while most checks were already sent out in the fall, if you received an extension of your 2021 tax returns and filed by October 17, then you can expect to receive a stimulus check again next year at the beginning of the year. Idaho announced $500 million on income tax rebates for residents who are either full-time residents living in the state or filed taxes for 2020 and 2021. Individual filers will receive at least $300 and joint filers will receive at least $600 or more. 10% of income taxes paid for 2020 are going to be sent out to you right now. And now, residents will need to file a 2020 and 2021 individual income tax return by December 31st, 2022 to be eligible. Payments could be processed starting in late September, and with funds being sent via direct deposit, first followed by mail checks shortly after. Payments will be processed throughout 2022 and early 2023, so yours could be arriving this month. Starting in June, Maine began sending out relief checks to $850, and to qualify, you had to do your tax returns before they canceled it. Payments initially began sending out in June, and are going to continue through eligible recipients who file their tax returns as they